Yeah.
So the more specific I can be with the level of appreciation and gratitude that I have for my wife, gratitude I have for my son, gratitude I have for my coworkers, gratitude I have for my employees, the more specific I can be, the more impactful it will be for the person on the receiving end.
It's so true.
Thinkless. What are we not thinking enough about? Join us as we evaluate our thought life. I'm Parker, and I'm here with my co-host, Amber. Welcome to the show. Amber, you just got done telling me offline about something that you recently have done that you're just like, I'm so grateful for this. You didn't use the word grateful or gratitude, but I'm interested to know.
No, because I am grateful, but at the same time, cold plunges are difficult. I am grateful.
They're so good, though.
They're like for the results, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The results is, I always say, like, I pull up to the gym and I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like doing this today for real. But I want the results, so I will go in.
Yeah.
I will go in.
Yeah.
It's the same with the cold plunge.
Yeah.
Right? You want the results of whatever you're doing.
Yes.
And, gratitude is one of the things that produces great results.
That is so true. So we've all been around people that are not grateful.
This is where I was headed, yep.
And we've all been around people that are grateful.
Yes.
Who are the people that you want to be around more? The ones that are or the ones that aren't?
Yep. I teach my kids, everybody wants to be around somebody grateful.
Yes.
So if you are grateful, if you want good things to come to you, be full of gratitude.
Yeah.
Be grateful.
Can I go on a tangent for a little bit?
Let's go.
So I love this topic of gratitude because once again, like, I want to be around people that are grateful because it's tangible. You feel it.
Yes.
Like you
I agree.
There is a different energy about a person who lives from a place of gratitude versus a person who does not live from a place of gratitude. So I am under the firm belief that gratitude, the opposite of gratitude, is not just ungratefulness, but it is actually entitlement.
Yeah.
That the opposite of gratitude is entitlement. And this is kind of the timeline or the trajectory in order to become entitled, I feel. We start with gratitude. So let's take, we just got a new job. For anybody looking for a new job right now and you get a new job, there is this really deep sense of gratitude. Like, oh my gosh, like, I am so grateful that I have a job. Been searching for a job, whatever. I'm really grateful for I have a job. Yeah. And then that job becomes normal.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing up. It's what I do. It's the people I work with. It's who I work with. Yeah. And that gratitude becomes just the normal thing that we do day in day. Well, in that normalcy, it's very easy to become complacent. Because, well, it's just normal. It's just what I do. It's where I'm a year into the job, 2 years into the job, 3 years, however long this may be. It's like, well, the normalcy of my life has now kind of created this complacency in my life where I show up and I may just show up, but I'm not really like contributing at the level at which I once did when I was grateful for the thing that I have. And then in that complacency, I then can very easily drift into entitlement because, well, I deserve this because I've been here for however long. Yeah. I deserve this because I put in the time and the effort. Yeah. I deserve. So the moment we flip the narrative from the thing I was once grateful for to the thing I now deserve because of X, Y, and Z, that's kind of the opposite of gratitude. And I think sometimes it can be helpful to define things for what they are not, rather than defining things for maybe what we think they are. Yeah. So that's my little tangent. Yeah,
and it's spot on. I love the fact that you're saying that gratitude isn't the absence of gratitude. Like you can't. The negative to that isn't just not having it, but it's actually the complacency of it. Where do you show gratitude the most in your life?
That's a great question. I show gratitude the most to the people that I love. So the people that I'm around. Yeah. So even my son and I, we went to Monster Jam recently.
yeah. Grave digger.
Grave digger.
Grave digger was there.
And I was never a fan of Monster Jam at all.
Yes.
But I'm seeing my son come alive in
Yes.
these monster trucks
So
that I'm
fun.
like, it's so fun.
It
It's
is
so fun.
cute. Yes. Funny story.
Yes.
So your son at the same age that you just took him to Monster Jam, my son went to Monster Jam with one of his buddies that turns 21.
I love it.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So crazy. And it was funny because he sent me a video of Gravedigger and I was like, oh my gosh, dear.
Yeah.
I was like, that was your favorite truck when you were little. You know, he was like, oh my gosh, the memories of him going to these Monster Jam truck things, you know, and all of that. So when you were there with your son, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
So precious.
Well, I was in that moment because even the moment that you just like, okay, well, I used to take my son here.
Yeah.
So there was a memory attached to that. And so I'm thinking in that moment that I'm with my son, where it's just me and my son. He's 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And this is like the first like time that like, okay, we're going to like a boys thing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're doing something that men do.
Yeah.
I don't think men, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was in the moment, I was like, I don't want just this to become normal.
Miss it. Yeah.
And I don't want to become complacent in this. And I really don't want him to even really feel entitled to like, well, we went to Monster Jam and I always deserve to go to Monster Jam. Is like, I want to live in the moment and express gratitude. Like, son, like, isn't this so special that we get to do this together?
Yeah.
You know, so I was trying to like throw in kind of some of those things, although he's 2.5 and we can have some type of dialogue, but I was living in that moment, recognizing I could very easily take this for granted and it's not like I'm not grateful for this, but I could just treat it as normal, therefore just being complacent with my actions, with my energy, with my words, rather than being like, son, look, I love doing this with you. This is so much fun. I'm so grateful that we get to do this together. So you asked the question, who do I show gratitude? It's because I think it is a showing versus just a thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's for the people that I love, and everything else kind of filters down from there.
You know, I think with gratitude, sometimes we don't show gratitude to the ones that are closest to us, and it is a choice. It's, you know, my kids, like I have a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old, and, you know, my husband and I have been together for 22 years, still saying thank you after dinner. I mean, he goes to work every day to pay for our dinner every day. You know, being able to say, thanks, Mom, for packing my lunch, even though you've done it for 18 years. You know, it's those type things that matter. That gratitude matters. And you can't become so complacent in life that you forget to be thankful for the things that you have. No matter where or what level that is you are in life, but to be thankful. It's such a more joy-filled life when you can be
100%
thankful and have gratitude for things, you know, to your waiters, to somebody that opens the door for you, to people that help here around the studio. I mean, just all of it, to look in the lens of, I truly am thankful for everybody and everything everybody does, whether they're paid to do it or not, supposed to do it or not, have an expectation to do it, because I think along with complacency, along with being complacent,
new words, I love it.
whatever we want to call it, right? But along with being complacent, expectation is also a killer for gratitude. When you expect something, like I say around here all the time, excellence is probably one of the top traits that I feel strongly about. Although I feel very strong about excellence, I don't have an expectation that I'm rude about it, I guess. You know, like, it's something we all should strive for. It's something that I express. That I would want everyone to try to be excellent at whatever their level of excellence is. Right? So I'm just grateful that the people around me want to try to achieve excellence in life instead of, this is the expectation. If you don't, you're in or out. Like, you know, you're trash. or you're good here.
Well,
There's a difference in the way you approach it with
and
gratitude.
and everything that you're saying is reinforcing this truth that gratitude is never silent. So it is not something that, once again, lives in my mind. It is something that has to be extended and
Because it's a
shown.
choice.
Because it's a choice. Because
It
it's
is
a choice.
100%
Yes.
a choice.
Do any of us just wake up and be like,
I do.
So great. Well, okay, Amber.
No, I don't.
Yeah, like it. I mean, because we're human beings, like we tend to kind of drift into the spaces that of entitlement and of self and of like, well, I deserve this because of X, Y, and Z, and so it's like it. So it is a choice. Yeah. It is a choice where like, man, when is the last time? And not just saying you, but I'm kind of putting this question out there. Like, when is the last time that you showed your boss that you were grateful for them? Like, when is the last time that someone maybe in an authority role over you in some way, shape, or form, like that you expressed gratitude? Because I know that it can be so easy in the roles and responsibilities that we carry to only see the negative aspects of the person that is leading us versus being able to extend gratitude to them. So gratitude. So can I get scientific for 1 second?
Let's try it.
Okay. I'm not a scientist at all.
Really?
I'm not a neuroscientist. I was talking to a friend earlier and was talking about some things in the brain, and I'm so fascinated by the mind.
Too.
So fascinated,
fascinated.
Like neurologically and the psychology of who we are is just so incredible. But Andrew Huberman, do you know who Andrew Huberman is?
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
so.
you need to tune into the Andrew Huberman podcast.
Okay.
A little plug.
There it is.
He's a neuroscientist from Stanford. And he picks apart the mind. It's what he does, like as a profession. But he started this podcast, wildly successful. No, it's amazing. Talks about so many different things.
Okay.
Now everything's attached to our mind.
Yep.
But he has a gratitude episode.
Okay.
Where he's talking about ultimately like how we really are able to like cognitively understand and operate from a place of gratitude is not just doing like daily gratitude practices. Like, okay, like today I'm thankful for coffee, or today I'm thankful for my mom, or today, like it's not just like repeating the things that we're grateful for. It's actually putting ourselves back into the position of when somebody's shown gratitude for us. So it's like, so when I look at it, be like, oh man, my wife's name is Zoe, and we are pregnant right now with our second child, depending on when you're listening to this.
Right.
We're in 2024, early. But is okay when I either like instead of me just saying, man, I'm so thankful for Zoe for being a phenomenal mother. I'm so grateful for Zoe for like, instead of doing that, in order for me to really feel gratitude towards her is to put myself back in a position of when she was grateful for me. With something. Yeah. It's in scientific, like the neurons in our brain and all of the different pathways in our mind, like light up whenever we reflect back on experiences where somebody showed us gratitude for us, for a specific thing.
Okay. So we could totally get lost in the brain things because I'm the same. So I wonder,
that's the new scientific term, the brain things.
The brain things, like the whole brain things.
Yeah.
Because we are relational people, we were created for relationships. Experiences are beneficial to us, but relational experiences are what ignite us.
Yes.
Right? So by doing what you're saying, thinking in a time that someone did something for us that made us feel gratification, right? Gratitude, is interesting that is what would then have, neurotransmitters go off in our brains to remember that, to then react in that feeling again, so to speak, of it, versus like, think about, your favorite present, you know what I mean? Like, think about the person that gave you, why was that present so great?
Correct.
The person that gave you that, it meant something, it's like, here we are close to, a holiday to give presents. And I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to get my son, for this day? Because I'm like, and I'm like, isn't it just about that I thought of you? Not less than like, oh, I went and got you this big present versus like, I thought about you today.
Yeah.
How do you keep it personalized and have that experience that they're just grateful for you thought of me, that this relationship means something to you, to have gratitude again, because there is no end to gift giving.
Yeah.
Like, my gosh, there is, even if you go all the way to a jet, there's still a bigger jet. There's still still more when you look at earthly things.
Yeah.
There's no end to that. There's no end to wealth. There's no end to things. But to keep that relevant and meaningful is gratitude.
Yes.
It's gratitude.
Yes. And
gratitude's what grounds you.
And I'll kind of go back to the experience that I was recently had with my son.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that my son, while he's young, that how he really receives love is through time. It's through time spent.
Yep.
Quality time is the technical term of the 5 love languages, the quality time. But I'm seeing that even once again, going back to that night, my presence with him, that as I was putting him down to bed that night, he and I, lights off, and I'm just laying with him, for him to fall asleep. And he's out of the blue just said, "Dad, I had so much fun tonight."
Ow.
And I'm telling you, my heart, I was like, I'm about to tear up right now. I was like,
exactly what I was like,
oh,
tissues.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he's 2.5, but he's recognizing, like he's receiving once again, because he feels that already of feeling appreciated, of feeling seen, of feeling valued, of feeling loved. And so so he expressed, and the word, how I receive love is through words of affirmation. So,
look at y'all go.
I know, right? So
amazing.
look at this little happy family that we have. But it was, in moments whenever he's losing his mind, and the only thing I want to do is maybe scream at him and say, no, whatever. I want to reflect back on the moment that he said, "Dad, that was so much fun," because that's the practice. That's the moment that I can go back to and be like, okay, I'm so grateful for my son.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for my son because of that moment when he expressed gratitude for me. But once again, that's a choice.
It is such a choice.
In the moment where it's frustrating, in the moment where it's normal, in the moment where my boss is coming down on me, in the moment where I have maybe every right, so I'm entitled to not respond in this way. Man, what if I respond with this ridiculous act of gratitude, of being like, man, thank you so much, boss, for giving me that feedback. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wasn't expecting you to respond like that.
Yeah.
And so gratitude it changes a person, but it can change an environment.
100%.
A physical environment.
Yep. And I think too, I worked at this one place one time, and there was
keeping it.
Yep, we're gonna keep
one place, one time,
we're gonna
in 1 year.
Keep that in the down low. And at times there was drama, bickering a little bit, and I thought, gratitude and feeling seen and appreciation goes a really long ways. It's the small things. We are a simple race, which we really, truly are.
We are.
So what I would do is I would take little sticky notes and I would write, "I have seen all of your hard work and it matters. Thank you. And we appreciate you." I did not sign it. I did it after hours. Nobody knew it was me. Still to this day, nobody knows that it was me. I think I just wanted to change the environment by interjecting appreciation and gratitude where the uppers maybe weren't giving the appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as just writing kind, appreciative things on a sticky note and putting it on people's desk.
Yeah.
And it's not ingenuine. It was genuine. I knew all of them. I did see how hard they worked. None of us are perfect. Everyone is trying their best. And sometimes their best isn't good enough and you need to help them find a different job. But nonetheless, you
That
still
is also true.
appreciate
Yes.
they're trying
Yeah.
and showing up,
Mhm.
and that showed me, in kind of like a test theory of myself trying this, was what would change?
Mm.
Would anything change?
Mhm.
Would their accountants change over the next, month of doing it?
Mhm.
And for me, my faith is super important. So I would write scriptures of how God sees them, whether your boss sees you or not, whether your spouse sees you or not, your friend or whoever. There's a scripture that says, work at it with all of your heart, as if you were working for the Lord and not for man.
Yeah.
That verse has pulled me through some of the hardest times of like jobs you've had, situations you've been in. Maybe you're in a tough time in your marriage and you're like, yeah, I'm not taking your cleaning. Sorry, you don't deserve it. Like, I'm mad at you, whatever. But if I looked at it like, you know what, I'm going to do that for the Lord today, because the Lord deserves all of my time and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole lot easier to do it. And because of that, others get the benefit of that, but I think being able to show gratitude and appreciation in your environments in a way that maybe you're not seeing or you don't get anything about, you actually do. You get full of joy and you get full of appreciation and gratitude almost by showing it, by giving it away into an environment, because it changes the environment and it changes you, because you have to sit down and think of someone else, think outside of yourself, and be like, okay, what do I appreciate them for? And how do they change this place for better?
Yes.
How do they impact it for good? And calling that out.
That's specific, which is impactful.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, as far as what you just said, as far as how is someone changing the environment? How is someone contributing? Like, that requires a deeper level of thought than just saying, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, thank you for what?
Yeah.
Like, you're welcome. I don't know what I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
So I think that is so key.
Yeah.
And that's practical as well, but also requires a deeper level of thought and observation to be able to see, hey, Amber, thank you for the way that you facilitated that conversation with that, because I know it was awkward and I know you didn't want to do it, but I'm so grateful that you had that conversation, because you left better and they've left better too.
Yeah.
Like, specific.
Yeah.
But the less specific, the less impactful.
Yeah.
So the more specific I can be with the level of appreciation and gratitude that I have for my wife, gratitude I have for my son, gratitude I have for my coworkers, gratitude I have for my employees, the more specific I can be, the more impactful it will be for the person on the receiving end.
It's so true. I think of, look, I love the fact that my husband, younger in our marriage, would tell me thank you for dinner, like robotically. Okay. Like, I don't know what was going to happen to him. He thought he didn't or something. But one day I made dinner. I was pregnant. It was terrible. I literally forgot half the ingredients. I served him this shepherd pie thing that was
not
horrible.
Shepherd pie.
I don't even know what it was. It was horrible. And he was like choking it down and he was like, thank you. And I got furious because I tried it and it was terrible. And I was like, why are you saying thank you? Like, that was terrible. That was a terrible, terrible meal. Like, do you even care that this meal was terrible? Do you even care about the good ones? Like, what are you saying about the good ones I've ever made? So it was like, if you just say thank you, even though it's like the nice thing to do, like, even if I say thank you for dinner, even after he pays for dinner or whatever, but if you're like, man, I really loved how you cooked the potatoes this time, thanks for that. You're like, oh, they noticed.
Yes.
They noticed versus just like a blanketed response, like you're saying.
Correct.
It matters completely when you can pull out or point out the little things in life. That's why I say we are simple. We truly are.
We are.
It's amazing how the smallest things can matter.
Yeah.
Here's another side of gratitude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is fun. Have you ever noticed when somebody comes up to you and they're like, man, Parker, you're just so cool. I love how
never
you, I kind of knew that was going to be the response. Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, or
Just kidding.
somebody would come up to you and say something really kind,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you're kind of like, haha, funny, joke it off, right?
Mm.
And not really receive it or whatever.
Yeah.
So the Lord did a really fun thing with me. He was like, Amber, how come you always deflect when there's some sort of gratitude or kindness shown to you? Like I've always like, ha ha, like make a joke about it, right? Like I'm just super witty. It's fun. I like it.
It's the saying whenever people are like, hey, only God.
Yeah.
Only God.
You know, it's one of the deflections, right?
Yeah.
And the Lord said to me, why are you stealing the goodness from other people?
Yes.
And I was like, what? How am I stealing the goodness from other people? And he's like, if you were to give away a gift, like if I was to give you a gift and you were to be like, this funny thing, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Be like, but wait, I was trying to give you a gift. Why don't you want it?
All right.
It's like, because that was weird, right?
Yeah.
He's like, learn to receive other people's gratitude. Learn to receive their kindness. Don't always deflect it, because when you give away a gift, you love it when somebody is grateful for that gift.
Yeah.
Like you're like, that's so good. You're so happy. That makes me happy in giving you that gift. And so if you don't receive it, I also don't get to receive the gratitude in it.
Yeah.
So I've learned when somebody's like, oh girl, I love your hat or whatever. And I'd be like, oh, this old thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, really? You like it? Thanks so much. I got it at wherever,
Yeah.
you know, I appreciate that. I receive it and I give that back so that they can receive what the gratitude or the kindness was meant to do.
That's so good. And that's because I think my deflection, when I deflect, it speaks more to an insecurity that I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, exactly. It's easy to, I was like, oh, like this whole thing, ultimately it's kind of like, don't bring attention to me. Like I'm just out here doing me, you know, rather than, like you said, like receiving that. Because once again, going back to the science, is like when I can receive it and I can internalize it and I can remember how it made me feel, then I am going to live from a place of wanting to do that for others as well. Yeah. Because I want people to feel seen. I want people to feel loved. I want people to feel valued. But it really only comes from knowing that I am seen, valued, and loved in order for me to extend that to other people too. Yeah. So
say 2 challenges.
Okay.
One challenge is, what can you think of a time that you've been like shown gratitude, and remember that time and then show that gratitude to somebody else. And then who is somebody that you are grateful for and that you can do something out of gratitude for today? Maybe that is your boss. You know, I think that is that was such a great point. I think that's so underdone. Like so many people don't think to show their boss gratitude, but bosses are always trying to show gratitude down so that they're, you know, meeting the needs of their people that they're leading. So I think that's great. Or somebody in your home, somebody close to you, but one thing today that you can do to show gratitude.
Great challenge.
And then remember a time that you were shown gratitude.
All right, I'm going to go do that.
Do today.
Okay, fine.
And if you don't, well, there's that.
That's awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.